Cool. All right, we're live. Welcome.
Hello.
So I immediately, that's the power that I have. I just look back and it's like, so we're live. Welcome to OnSet. I am Daniel Norton. This is Dave. We got Fernando back there. We haven't figured out Fernando's intro yet. Daniel Norton.
Daniel Norton. Sorry,
One more time.
It's just the
I'll turn that off right now for you only.
You don't have to.
But then you can't complain that it's cold.
No, it wouldn't complain. It's too hot. It wouldn't complain.
Yeah, is that air conditioning today? I can't tell because it was like 2 days ago in New York it was freezing, right?
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's very, very warm. I think it was like 40 degrees or something, and I went out with like sandals on. And I'm like, oh, it's warm. And that's the way we get in the winter in New York. So for those who don't know, we live stream every day at 12 o'clock. And was that? Every day, every Thursday. Well, yeah, not every day. Every Thursday that I'm here, I live stream at 12 o'clock. So if you cannot make it, obviously people that are watching right now online know this, but maybe you guys don't. That is a big coffee. I just want to point that out. I'm jealous. So if you're at home, you know, you're at school, wherever you are at 12 o'clock on Thursdays, you can always check out adoramatv.com and you can see us live stream. We do different events every week. This week happens to be lighting, I forget what I called it exactly, but we're going to make character portraits. So we're going to basically start off with what is kind of a conventional portrait lighting, the kind that you might use to just generically shoot a portrait of anybody. And then we're going to, each session, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go through and change the light up to kind of draw some character, make a little bit of emotion, change up the shot, make something a little bit funkier. Sometimes when you're doing these things, you're doing it based on that you know somebody. Like maybe I know you, right? We're good friends. We hang out, and I know that you are into, you know, skateboarding. I made that up. Maybe you are. You are. No, he is. Okay. So I might then want to make a portrait that reflects that. Maybe I don't know you, but I just think you look like somebody that might like skateboarding, so I want to make a portrait that reflects that. Sometimes that's the difference between, let's say, an editorial shot where you're hired to go out and make a portrait of somebody, right? Or an advertising shot where it's a model or it's an actor, and they're going to then play the character that you want to create. And part of this comes down to using light to kind of adjust the emotions of people watching the shots based on what we perceive, you know, in life. So again, I'm going to start off with kind of a straight portrait just so we know what that is, I guess. We have Perla. She says it much better than I do. Perla. 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 La Perla is very nice lingerie. You know that, right? Yeah. Come forward a little bit. I don't wear a lot of lingerie, but I do know about it.
But when you do,
But when I do, La Perla. When I can't afford Wilford. Wolford, right? Yeah, Wolford is the good stuff. That's the good stuff, right? Yeah, that's the good stuff. I'm going to get all kinds of like people from La Perla hating on me now that I just said that Wolford was better. I'm sure they're all fine. Yeah. Okay, so, also, extra super surprise today. We have what's going to be launched on the 20th, so we're actually ahead of schedule. These new lights that are going to be produced by Adorama called Orlit. They are strobes, they're flashes, battery powered, and they work TTL with Canon and Nikon. And we've not used them before really, but we're going to use them right now for the first time. They said that I could use them even though they're not been announced yet. So this is for all the people that always say, how come you always use ProPhoto every single event? If you didn't come to this one, you should have, because we're using this Orlit. And they're much more affordable. And take that as you will. So basically, I'm going to do what is kind of a common portrait setup here. We've got a nice large-ish source from the front. This is a 38-inch octagon-style box or a round box. This is going to be, it's large, so it's soft. It's going to create a nice flattering light across the face, right? We've got a secondary light in the back here, which is in a strip bank. The strip bank is basically a narrow, you probably didn't have to do anything, but people are here, so a narrow box. The reason why I like this for your hair or separation light is because it gives me a lot more control. If I use a big box for the background, sometimes you know you'll have issues getting the light around the person where you don't want it necessarily. Oh good, I was waiting for you. It took me a while to get, no, it's okay. Okay, good, now we can start. And then on the background, we're going to throw our third light, which basically has a grid. A grid is designed to give you a smaller circle of light, not like a snoot in the fact that it compresses it, but more like it feathers it in. So it's going to help us control our light. So in theory, what we're going to get is a nice, beautiful light across our face, a little bit of a separation light, and then the background's going to have a little light on it. But the very first thing that we always do when we use flash, okay, good, everybody knows already, but I'm going to say it, is we want to set up a situation where none of the ambient light in the space is affecting our photo. This is important when you want to shoot these kind of things, right? There's times, let's say you're shooting an event where you want the room lights to affect your shot, right? You don't want the person to just be lit up and then a black room. But in this case, that's what we want, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create an exposure on the camera that when we make a photo with no flash, we get a black frame. The way that we do that is we set our ISO at the lowest ISO that we would normally be able to go to within the normal range of the camera. In this case, it's 100. We set our shutter speed at the maximum shutter speed that we can synchronize with the flash. There is such a thing as high-speed sync, but we're not going to talk about that right now or possibly even today at all. So we're just going to imagine that that doesn't exist. And that is 200th of a second, I believe, for this camera, which is a 5D Mark III. And then we're going to set our aperture. We don't know. We set the aperture at a place that will get the room dark. Now, I know, because I'm here a lot, that around f8 usually does it for us. That's probably a good place to start anyways. So we put those settings into our camera and we make a photo with our flashes turned off. What we're looking for is a black frame, no exposure at all. If we get that, then we have two options. We can either open the lens up a little bit if we felt like we wanted to use less flash power or because we wanted more shallow depth of field, whatever. And as long as it stays black, we can do that. I normally wouldn't close down, but I might close down the lens if I wanted, let's say, more depth of field. But f8 is usually a good place to shoot a portrait, so let's start there. So Dave will make a photo and we'll see what happens. By the way, I'm tethered into, I didn't do my thing. Sometimes I skip a whole portion. I don't know why that happens. It's weird. We're tethered into my Mac here. We're using Capture One. So Capture One is basically software that allows you to make a photo from your camera. The camera's connected to the computer via a cable, and I'm immediately able to get those raw files into my computer, right? I can make adjustments to the camera from here. I can even shoot pictures from here if I wanted to. But basically what I've got here now is the frame that Dave just made, and we can see it's black. Just as an extra test, I like to go over here to my adjustments, and I want to grab my exposure adjustment. Like, you know how if you take a photo and it's underexposed, you can grab your adjustment and bring it up a little bit? I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to drag it out and see where I start to see her. Right? I'm getting a little shoulder right there. Let's say that's around two stops. I would like that not to be affecting her, but I don't think. Can we just turn that off? Yeah. We're just going to turn that off because that's what we're going to do here. If you couldn't turn the light off, and then we'll just take another shot. If you couldn't turn the light off, what you would need to do at that point is probably close down the lens. 2 stops to me is not enough. I like to be at least 3, if not 4 stops underexposed to really ensure that none of the ambient light is going to affect my shots. This is our new exposure with the light turned off. I'm dragging it over. There she is. And she comes up right around 3 stops. So that's good for me. That means that it's going to take 3 stops of shadow recovery before I see any of the ambient light affecting my shot. If you have to do 3 stops of shadow recovery on the portrait, you probably shouldn't use that one and maybe use a different frame because that's really underexposed. So we know now that the only light that's going to affect our shot, that's going to create our photo, is the light that we produce because none of this light's affecting it. So again, we've got our lights here. And I guess we'll Seth said something. People are talking to us online. You can talk to us online if you want. I will occasionally send something back. Oh, okay. Okay. Seth's distracting Dave. Let's turn the strobes on in the front. We're going to take our first. We just turn them all on. Why not?
Yeah, they're all on.
Okay, we're just going for it. By the way, this is a first-time test of these lights ever used in the entire United States of America.
What lens are you using?
The lens that we are using is a 24 to 70 2.8 L Series 2 specialized extra. Yeah, it's Canon lens. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically the Canon 2470. Yeah, go for it. Did anything happen? And on top we have the Orlit remote. This is exciting working with like stuff that we don't know if it's. I mean, it'll work, I'm sure. We have faith. Like we literally just opened these up out of the box. Oh, light happened. Oh yeah, there we go. Worked pretty good. That's not bad. And there you go. Thanks for coming. Okay, so as is typical in a TTL exposure, we do have a little bit of weirdness going on. That is that this light right here isn't doing nothing, and nor is the back one. So either they didn't fire, or the way TTL works, just so I'm going to quickly go over this since we have these new lights, and it'll probably be something we'll be working with throughout the day. Essentially, your camera's meter is giving you the exposure, right? So when you start putting a lot of lights in the scenario, especially if they're pointed back towards the camera or they're at odd angles, it'll have a hard time making the correct exposure. Just the same way that if you're standing on top of a building, let's say, and the sun is setting behind your subject, and you just lift your camera up and take a picture, sometimes it won't be perfectly exposed because the meter in the camera doesn't know that the person is the subject, not the sun, right? So we need to make sure that we're going to make some quick adjustments to this to get a better exposure. Either way, though, I will point this out. I actually want this light more this way. Can you move this more? Yeah, more to the center. Yeah, I tend to prefer the light to come more from the center when photographing women, especially. I find that the shadow across the face is never a good thing. It can be good for special things, like we're going to get into more character portraits, but for a general portrait, we typically don't want like a shadow on somebody's face. We want it to be kind of airy and light and the skin to look smooth, and shadow is going to interrupt that. So we're going to raise the light slightly, we're going to move it a little more to the center. That should bring our shadows down. There we go. That's nice. I still think only one light's firing though. Okay.
Channel 12, ID 5.
Yep.
Channel 12, Let's turn off A.
Okay.
See what we get.
Oh, that time it fired. Yeah, it had the red light on the back for some reason. That's one. Good.
Fired.
Okay, that's one. Hey, so this lesson is going to be on how to troubleshoot your lights. Now, so this is our backlight. Good. Actually, look at the. Can you see the back of that light, Fernando? Is the light red or black? Red or green? This one's green. Green. Okay, so green means it's communicating, I guess. There you go.
Nothing.
Okay. Let's skip that for now. Just try do A and B.
Manual.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to switch it all to just put them all on A. It doesn't really matter. We're not necessarily needing to do different zones.
Okay. You have to do it. On the good.
But it's not on.
How many total lights do you have?
17 lights. No, how many total lights do we have? We have 3 right now.
What's the one above?
Which one?
The staff dome.
The video light.
That's a video light, and that's not affecting our shot. That's why we set ourselves up. Hold on one second. We're going to A, right? Okay. Cool. We're switching our groups up. Try that. Oh, I think that fired, right? Cool. There we go.
So, still not.
That's fine. Just put it in manual. I don't want to dwell on this. Yeah. We're not going to dwell on this because this isn't about that. So I'm just going to switch to manual. Remember that when you're on a shoot, this is actually an important lesson to learn in life. Like, we're on the shoot to make this portrait. We're not on the shoot to mess around with our lights. And our subject doesn't want to stand there. We're trying to figure it out. If there's an issue, then just roll with it, right? So I'm just going to switch to manual, and we'll just dial it up. Like, it's easy enough for us to just go to manual mode. And we'll work this out on our own time. I'm going to put this at half power because I don't know my exposure, because I was planning on using TTL today, so I didn't bring my meter. So there we go. That's what happens in life sometimes. So I'm going to put it in the middle, and we're going to make a shot. We're going to see what happens, right? We're going to then adjust our power from there.
Are we A?
Want my phone?
Yeah, A.
All of them?
Yep.
So if I hit.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, nope, nothing.
So I'm overriding. So what I'm going to do is switch this to
We're making changes. Any questions so far about nothing because we haven't done anything yet? Do you have any questions about Perla? What would you like to know about Perla?
What is he trying on here? Tell us what he's doing so we know.
I'm not going to tell you what he's doing because it's irrelevant to what's happening and it will only confuse the issue. Once it's fixed, I'll tell you how we did it. How's that?
Can I just ask, was it not going off? Like in TTL, was it setting off? The signal wasn't transmitting or?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like I'm not a scientist,
Or just
right?
like-
I'm not sure why it's not firing. We're going to figure that out. But if we walk through every step that Dave's taking while you do that, it's only going to confuse the issue. So just hang on for a second and we'll make it work.
Do they have built-in radios? What do you call it? Transmitters? Or-
Yeah, there's a radio built into the lights and they're just not communicating for whatever reason. This is not uncommon, yes.
Personally, do you prefer to shoot in TTL or manual?
Well, that's a good question. So, TTL or manual? If TTL works, I would always use it, right? If you find that it's not working, you need to know enough to be able to get yourself out of that situation, right? So I work with a lot of systems that use TTL, and it usually works really well. Sometimes it doesn't. You have all same thing with the radios. People live by these radio systems, and like it's become the thing that we all use now. There used to be radios were really expensive, and nobody had them. And but I'll tell you, if you look at my camera bag right now, you will find manual sync cords because sometimes you're somewhere and it just doesn't work, no matter how much you paid for it. So yeah, sometimes you just got to roll with it. So what we're doing now is we're just setting the lights up manually. We're not using TTL because we're having some kind of interference. And again, you didn't come here to watch us mess with lights. Okay, the way the light's reflecting off of it. Yeah, you got like a little bit of like highlight going on there,
Daniel,
right? You see, yes.
On your screen, are you seeing what's closer to what we're seeing on the left or up there?
Up there.
Okay, so it's darker than this is appearing here.
Yeah, that's a terrible TV. We really should get rid of that TV. Let's put that on the list. Chewy's working on it.
So that's actually quite nice.
Well, thank you. I didn't do it, but I totally appreciate the lovely subject, right? And Dave shooting
The
it.
lighting's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. This is good, classic, clean, pretty light, right?
Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah, it is soft. So we've got a nice little rim light going on. You will notice too that this is something to be wary of. She has this beautiful dark hair, and then she's got like a nice warm skin tone, which is lighter than her hair, right? So this light is evenly hitting her here. Her arm's actually slightly overexposed while her hair is normal exposure. What you may end up needing to do, if we were going to try to work this out, is you may tip your light, right? So that you move the back further away from the subject. That's one way to get it so that we can make that work. Cool. Other questions so far about what's happening or not happening? Nobody is asking about this little tiny tripod that's sitting here for some bizarre reason. Do you see this tripod?
Blends into the.
Yeah, right? I'm not sure where it came from.
Nice.
It was for the
I have a
Nemo.
question.
Yes.
Are these two guys related?
What?
The beard guys? Are you guys related?
Are we related, me and you?
No, not you. Them.
Choose my half brother.
Yeah.
They look like they're twins. Are you guys twins?
No.
No. That's unbelievable. They look
both
like
Mexicans.
alike.
Yeah.
It must be the beard.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. What's happening? Just one's working?
Yeah, they're not gonna work.
Okay, so we got one light working. So what do we do when only one light works? We just use one light. That means that's all we'll do, right? So we're going to turn this one off. Let's move forward.
So much for those new ones.
Yep.
Well, we'll work it out. We'll get it working next system. All right, so we're going to switch out to using just the one light. Let's use the big soft light to start with. I think now, if you've just got the one light source, right, and we want to again still create a nice shot, you can obviously actually grab an area light too. Yeah. So now I've only got one light, right? And if I want to use one light and I want to really shape my subject, the one thing about putting the singular light in the center, like if I'm lighting somebody using multiple lights, I'm always going to go for that central light and make nice even light across the face. But if I want to add some dynamic light into my shot, I'm not going to just put the light in the center, it'll just be boring. So I'm going to immediately do what I said I don't like to do, and put the light more to the side, right? And I'm going to also move it in very, very close. The closer the light is to the subject, the softer it will be, but it'll also wrap around more. So I'm going to benefit from the fact that I only have one light, right? And I can actually take it, to get this out of my way. And depending on where I put it, right? So I've got this large light source, right? Right now, this part of the light is hitting her face here. This part's actually going around her, right? Giving us nice, even coverage across the whole face, wrapping around. If I were to take my light and move it back further, right? Yeah.
And the other one here.
Good. If I were to move my light back further, right? What will happen is I can get light on one side of her face, right? And then more darkness over here, but also let light creep past her to get on my background, which is actually what I think I'm going to do to start with. So let me see what that looks like. So work towards the light with your face.
And maybe like what? Right here.
Okay, so we're going to start with, well, again, now we're back to doing one light. We don't want to create a long shadow across the side of her face, so we're going to work her face slightly to the side so that we can get some nice light across the front of her face, but also drop down into shadow on the back side of her. There we go. Now, just as a contrast, if I take my light and I do this with it, just so we can see the difference. It's not, still light's going to hit the background because this is a big source. It's spreading out. It's not going to be able to avoid that. I'm just going to stay over here. Yep, there. But, oh, well, we're hot now because of the. It's okay though.
Did it do it on its own, or did you guys change the settings?
Nah,
Yeah.
it's a bit bright.
There we go. Cool. Yeah.
That was on manual, right?
No, it's TTL.
Yeah, we're in
That's why I
TTL.
did that,
Yeah.
TTL,
Yeah.
the metering in the camera always tends to overexpose skin.
Yeah. So essentially what you're getting here is, well, what's happening is, and again, I don't want to make this a lesson about TTL, so let's try not to ask those questions. We'll do TTL because I don't want to sit there the whole time. The way your meter in your camera works, I'm just going to be very basic here. The meter in your camera is looking at the whole scene, which means if I take a person and I put them in front of a big black wall, right, and I do a wide shot, the camera will overexpose that person because it's trying to make the whole scene neutral, right? We have this wall is essentially black because there's no light hitting it. So her face becomes overexposed because the light's trying to light the whole scene. That's the reason why that happens. So once you know that and you know to quickly make an adjustment, you can easily compensate for that, which is what we just did. So we can see here, though, that just by changing, having shadow on the face, right, on the left, versus no shadow, changes completely the feel of the shot, right? And I think, do we want to go more devilish, like the left, or do we want to go more angelic, right, like the right? I mean, where do we want to build this shot?
Left.
Left. Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Okay, good. So see, that's how they see you. Can you imagine that? Okay, so that's cool. So we're going to make her a little bit more devilish. So do we get the area back there? Is the hair light? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to add it. All right, so I'll go back to where I was. Now, we could accentuate this by using the strip, right? The strip would allow us to not get the light on the background, but I feel like if we're going to try to keep this minimal with the lighting, although I might add another light, I want some light behind her because she has dark hair. Otherwise, I'm going to completely lose her into the background. But we can, for example, we could switch back to the strip in a second if we want. But let me just get this kind of, so look a little bit devious. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Just model line this off. A little closer. Oh, you're talking about him? Okay. Yeah. No, don't turn on yet, Fernanda. Yeah. Okay, let's see how that looks. Devious. All right, so Dave's looking through the camera. And again, because we want our light to be close, a good tip, especially if you have somebody helping you that makes it nice, is that you want to take your light and put it in as close as you possibly can. And then when you see it in the frame, you pull it back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I might have a little bit too much light on the background there, right? So maybe I want it to be a little bit more shadowy, so I think I'm gonna go like this more. And now it's just a matter of me turning my light, right? It's all about the angle. One thing I'll do when I'm trying to make kind of more interesting things, especially if I am doing it on the fly like we are now, oh, there we go, now we're getting it, is oftentimes I'll have available to me multiple tools, right? The last thing you want to be doing when you're in the middle of a shoot is going, oh, you know, I had this back at the studio or it's not set up yet, so I've got like the strip box here, I have a grid, I have other things sitting here waiting, so I can swap out whatever I want as I go if I feel like I need it. I'm kind of liking that. Do we think the background is too light though?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want to make the background darker, we could switch to the strip box, right? The strip box is going to give us a much more narrow beam, right? So we're going to be able to keep the light off the background with it. You can also do things like use a grid. I probably could turn the light further. Actually, let me try turning the light first. This might actually work for us because of the shape of her face, but we'll look.
Look like here, like turn your whole thing. And move forward a bit.
Cool. Yeah, that worked actually. That's fine. Okay, so I was able to do it without really having to switch, right? And you see what I did there. And this is one of those things where you'll find if you show up on my photo shoots, I often have lights that are not pointed anywhere near the model, or it doesn't seem like they are, right? Because the light spreads as it leaves the modifier. So we're hitting her with this light because it's spreading all the ways over here, and we can clearly see that. And now we've got a bit of a dark, kind of moody look going on. Now I do have this area light here, which in order to use this, we're probably gonna have to kill the set lights. Yeah, so let's turn this on and kill the set lights so we can see. Sorry, YouTube, you guys can see me. So we're gonna bring this in, and because we're going a little more devilish with it, this is a tungsten light, right? This light is tungsten balanced, which means it is warm relative to our flash. See how warm it is on our shoulders, right? I like that. I like this feel that we're gonna have this like warmness going on. If we don't like it, we can mess with that later, but for now, I think that if we let the hair light get really warm, it could actually add a lot of feel to this. So what we want to do is figure out our exposure for our tungsten light. The way we're going to do that is we're going to adjust our shutter speed more and more until we get the place that we want it to be, right? Then we can bring our flash back in. Our flash, because it's the basis of our flash exposure is basically our aperture, right? Because none of the available light was affecting our flash because we had a fast enough shutter. As we start to slow down the shutter speed, we're going to pick up this ambient light, and we're going to pick up this this light from this hot light. Oh, interesting.
That's not where we want, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's that? That's because the modeling light. Okay, so this light here, the modeling light is on. So before we shoot, I'm going to turn it off. We'll leave it on so Dave can see, but see that's affecting my shot. So let's do it without the modeling light. I just want to see how much light. Some of the light from the hot light is actually bouncing off of this. That's partially what's lighting her. But yeah, it's mostly the modeling light. Okay, so we're going to kill that modeling light when we go to shoot. So bring it up so you can get the shot set up.
I won't be.
Okay.
It's about the same time.
Okay. All right. So let's see what it looks like with the flash and this, right? Let's see how much we're building into our scene. Do you feel devilish now? See, she does have a little like redness in her hair. She was telling me she didn't have it. I knew I saw that. I'm not crazy.
She was being devilish.
There we go. So we've added that little bit of like, now we have that separation and that fun. You know what though? Yeah, the flash has to come down a bit. Going to lower the power of the flash a bit. Now it's a matter of balancing out our exposures. You know what I think I want to do though? I have an idea. Nope, that's too much. So now we're just trying to get our exposure figured out. We're moving, Dave's basically using the controller to move the power of the flash up and down until we get it where we want it. Questions about how we're mixing these lights together right now? So we're essentially using our shutter speed for the most part to affect this exposure, and we're leaving our aperture alone because that's the flash exposure. There you go.
What's the shutter speed?
The shutter speed is how fast the shutter fires.
Yeah, well, what is it?
Right now it's 1/25 of a second. Cool. No, I think that looks pretty good, actually. Right? So we're getting this kind of warmness. Yes.
I know you use the tungsten lights for a different color of lighting. Do you use gels as well as far as?
You could. Yeah. So the question is, could you use gels to do the same thing? Is kind of what you're getting at? Yes. We were going to do that, but now I have this light, so it actually worked to my advantage. See, so I took what could have been a problem with having an issue with the radio not firing, and we just made it work for us because I was probably going to use the warm light on this, so now I got it. Just to show you, though, the difference, if we were to go to tungsten white balance, right, then the hair light, right, that's going to become neutral, and then her skin tone is going to get much cooler, which could be interesting. So let's just see what that looks like. Right? These things, obviously if we're shooting raw, we could switch that in post or whatever, but I like to do it while I'm working so I can see what I like, especially if you're working with gels, right? It could be worthwhile, so maybe we'll shoot one like that.
What were you on before tungsten?
Flash.
Flat.
Yeah.
It's still at F8, right?
Yeah, we're at F8, I think. Yep, F8. Oh, interesting. So now, you've still got this redness in her hair a little bit here, which is kind of interesting because she has little red low lights. We call those low lights, right? There we go. She doesn't know. I'm just giving her a hard time. And then you've got the coolness on her skin, and then neutrality in her hair. So actually, try that again, but maybe with maybe looking more towards the light. I'm curious. It's probably too blue, but you know,
Face is a little too blue.
it's a little too blue for you guys. You don't like her to be blue. You like her to be happy. Yes.
So lowering the shutter speed doesn't affect the flashes. It'll only affect their your still life.
Right. So when you're using a flash, this is a massive generalization, but the shutter speed doesn't really affect it until it does. But yeah, lowering it below the sync speed won't affect it. What it will do though is it'll bring in ambient light. But if there is no ambient light, it won't matter at all. So for instance, and this is something that we do sometimes if we're trying to try to stop action. Sometimes you'll do a long shutter speed just so you can then like throw something in the air and then pop the flash while it's in the air and it will freeze it because the flash has its own exposure, right? But yeah, I think the warmth was probably better. I think, yeah, they like her to be more devilish. So now we're at 4,500, which is kind of cool. I also thought it could be kind of cool to have some movement, which is the other reason why I wanted to go here. See.
Go back to the flash and then do.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, this is great.
What? Yes. We're going to do a longer exposure, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to roll back our exposure, so we can do it a couple different ways.
Can you just ask from the blue shot to this one, what did you change?
What?
He
We changed the white balance to 4,500.
Oh, okay.
It's just a matter of playing with your white balance. You could be anywhere in between.
Got it.
We went to tungsten. We were start at flash, then we went to tungsten, and then we went 4,500, which is kind of in the middle, to get us to kind of. This doesn't look as.
Didn't do anything.
Oh, there you go.
Did it with what we had.
Nice. That's pretty good. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. So now, what we're doing here is we're since our shutter speed is only a 25th of a second, moving the camera whilst we make the exposure is causing blur where the constant light is affecting her. If you remember from earlier, right, this shot, that's the shot with only the tungsten light, which means that when I shoot at 25th of a second and things move, the only stuff that's going to be blurry is stuff that's lit by that. So not her face, because it's not hitting her face, right? So you could do this a bunch of different ways. You could have her move, but that might create weird light on her face. So what Dave chose to do is move the camera, which gives you a little bit more control. I guess you went like that. That's what I'm guessing. A little pan action. We could do an even longer exposure if we want. Yeah, and I think the trick there is just going to be to just dial the exposure down until you get it where you want. So you can in order to balance it out though, actually let it overexpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went to F16.
Okay, so you did do it. Okay, so Dave balanced it because that's how Dave is. Okay, did you raise the flash up too?
It's the,
Oh, you're in TTL. Okay, good. So basically we went to F16, right? We went to F16 so that we could slow down our shutter speed and get the same exposure on the tungsten light, right? It's the exposure triangle. I totally stole that from Mark Wallace. Thanks, Mark. Is that even a triangle when I do that? Oh, look at that. Oh, here we go. You're very like,
Got a little bit of
Yeah.
a soft box in there.
yeah, it's cool.
To one side or both sides?
I think he started at one side and went to the other.
Yep.
So it looks like, yeah.
Basically, where her face is framed is where I started it.
Right.
Because I'm on first curtain, so I triggered and then just moved.
Right, good, good. So we'll talk about that. I don't know if we can do recurrent with this, but we're going to try it. Basically, yeah, so let's try it. So now when you're going to do these kind of things, right, because I kind of like this for this feel, right? We've created this kind of mysterious vibe around La Perla. I add the La. I feel like we need it for this. Because it's like Nikita. No, it's not La Nikita, though, is it? It's just Nikita. So it's Perla. Forget it. We'll go back to Perla. I'm not going to rename anybody today. So we've got this kind of vibe going on around Perla. So the way Dave's achieving it is he's setting up his camera and he's using what's called first curtain sync or just normal sync, which is basically means that when you press the shutter button, the flash fires, right? Then the rest of the exposure happens. So flash fires, move camera. There's also rear curtain or second curtain sync, which means that the flash fires at the end of the movement. That can be useful for some stuff. And these kind of things, I usually just try both. I don't really want to say one's better than the other. It just depends. It really depends on how the person's moving, how the lighting is. So try them both if you have that opportunity and see which one you like better. With the rear curtain, what's going to happen is Dave's going to move the camera first, and then the flash is going to fire at the end of the exposure. The only downside to that is you don't kind of get to pick where the person is in the middle because, unless you time it really well. So go ahead and try it. And let's see what we get with rear curtain. Okay.
It's looking great.
You're feeling it. Nope. Okay, it's okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's still fire first curtain. So we'll just use first curtain and we'll get a better shot with the first curtain.
Yeah.
You know what I kind of want to do? Let's open this barn door up so we get a little bit of light on the background. Or a little bit more light on her back, let's say. Yeah, we go. Let's try that. I want to bring it up a little bit. Okay. This is the one now. You feeling it? You gotta motivate the person. She did not know she was coming here for this. Oh, interesting. Interesting. What is that? I like it. It is, right? I wish it was lower.
Let me try this.
Fine, Lord.
Yeah. Well, I just want it lower in the frame. Or maybe the camera can be low.
I can do it.
Dave's got it. He's going handheld. You know it's dangerous when he goes handheld. Questions about this feel, this vibe? We're on first curtain now. The rear curtain was not operating.
So in general, would you go with the first curtain?
I don't know. That's what I said at the beginning. I'm not sure if you should use first or rear. I don't want to give you. I typically use rear curtain when I do this, and I get a lot of luck with it. But first curtain is going to be a lot easier to line it up. It just depends on what you're doing. In this case, because the background is black, it probably doesn't really matter. If there was stuff behind the person, it can make a difference because basically, depending on what gets in the frame before the person, you can also have the person move. That's the other way to do it. You can lock down, and then she could move. Could you do like a? Oh, you want to spin? Wow, that's asking for a lot. Okay. Oh well, she's gonna spin. Forget it. Go for it. I was gonna ask for a hair flip, but that was pretty. She's gonna spin. Never say no to a spin.
Yeah. Start looking up. Start looking up over here. I like this. You start there, and then you push back. This way. Yeah. As soon as it flashes. It might be too quick, actually. Let me get.
Yeah. Well,
Just do that if that's too hard.
Well, it's not too hard for us. She volunteered. You saw her volunteer to spin, right? You saw it.
So as soon as you see it flashes, as soon as you hear any noise at the end,
Welcome. Any questions, guys? No?
No, I kind of like the one that had the two streaks behind it.
You like the one with the streaks. You're already happy.
Kind of like Supergirl.
Yeah. She is like Supergirl. Oh. Oh, interesting. Oh, I like the attitude with the chin.
Yeah, I think so.
we'll try that. Okay, ready? And go for it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Oh, wow, look at you.
Try that again. I think we're on the right.
It's good, but I would take the hair that is on your left side and move it away from your face.
Open up this barn door
Yeah.
from end of.
Open up.
Yeah. There we go.
And see, here it's kind of nice too, because the play of the color of her face with the, they could save there. The play of the color of her face actually really works against the warmth. It's, wow, it's like she's got fire hair. I told you you had warmth in your hair. See, I was setting that up. That's called, what do they call that? When they just do it earlier in the story, they say show something that's,
Stool pitching? No, something else.
come on. Stool picture, what's that? No, that's what? No, would you have it earlier in the story? It's foreshadowing. That was foreshadowing right there for you, by the way. I don't know what you were talking about. Fernando's just saying random words like they're supposed to be the right thing, hoping that it just lands on. Yes, coconut. Okay, that's not as good as the first one, so let's try again.
Bring back the Super Bowl.
You can't bring it back. No classics. We're already moved on. Yes.
So I'm just going to
Yeah.
switch to F16 from F8.
I think so. Yes. We went to F16 because if we needed a longer shutter speed in order to get it to move. And basically, just like if you were working with it, it's essentially ambient light. So we have to close our shutter. The other way to do it, and defilter, turn down the power of the light, lower your ISO would be the other way to do it. But we didn't have those options for us, so that's why. You'll find that with this kind of stuff, if you want to start to add movement, oh wow.
That's great.
It's very sensational. We went from kind of being a little moody and like spyish to being like,
What's warm and happy?
kind of. But except she has moody light on her face. It's like this weird, like warm, happy, but dark.
Yep.
Well, if we're going to be happy, then all we have to do is just move this light like this slightly. Right? If we just go like this, that'll probably get more light on her face, which might look happier.
Yeah.
Let's just try that. I'll get out of the way. Well, no, I won't.
See the background.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There I am. That looks pretty good. Actually, that's probably one of the best photos I've ever taken of you. It's like amazing.
Yeah, it's
Especially the half of my body. I'm not in there. Actually.
All right, ready?
I did that thing that people do to you when you're on the street shooting and they like go in front of you and they duck. You know what I'm talking about. That's happened to you. I don't know if that's worse than them just standing there staring at you. Could you get that too? It's like you could go behind me. See, now. Just as a point of interest, right? We switched the attitude, we switched the mood, right, to more happy because he's moving around, more glowy. So all I did was move my light. I got more light on her face. Makes more sense, right? On the left, it's like too dark. Why is she happy in the dark? Just nobody's happy in the dark. Like what?
Playboy and whatever.
Like Playboy. Oh my God. What are you talking about over there?
That last shot is
Don't say that to the.
It's something.
Yeah. Let's set up a second light on that side and do both sides of her hair. Then she can do that. What do we call that again?
What do we call
Where was the guy from? Oh, who remembers that? With the light from the back? Was he from Austria? No, nobody. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The dude. That every single. You don't remember the guy? Nobody was here at that time. There was a guy. Guy, if you're online watching, remind us.
There was
He was from Europe, and then he was like, every shot he wanted the whole head to be glowy. So we were calling it something. Argentina. It wasn't Europe at all. It was Argentina, South America. Okay, that's the Argentinian light.
What's still married?
Well, is it part of North America, Argentina? It's Central America, maybe. It's like in the.
What's
It is South America, so I was right the first time.
That's part of America.
You should know that, Chewy. Argentina is beautiful if you've not been there. It's actually a very nice country. I have. I lived in Miami, as we say it. So I visited a little bit. So that's how you say it down there, Miami. Chewy's laughing at me. My Spanish is not great. One day we're going to do a whole Spanish. By the way, it's important to always shine the light on the audience to make sure they're awake.
You know what we should do?
That should not be in
Might do a
It's still a little bit.
do a live overdub so we hear your English but slower. And
It still is, like, totally.
then do a live overdub.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all the way over.
Oh wow. Yeah. Blast them.
It's still totally different.
They love that.
Like half the audience.
That's okay. They're happy.
You can pull it back, like closer
Yeah.
to the background. the angle will then shift it so you're chewing more.
Alright.
Yeah.
Calm down.
He's used to being in the spotlight. Wow, okay. So now we've got this kind of bright light on her face, right? We're totally changing our attitude here. We went kind of dark at the beginning. You guys were like, Perla's dark. And then all of a sudden now we're this happy thing. So we're basically going for this like more movement and smiley. So it didn't feel right to me to be so dark, you know, on one side of her. So we're going to brighten up both sides of her head. This is going to be a little bit trickier because essentially the light coming from the back is going to penetrate almost certainly onto her face, and we really have to watch. We don't want hot spots. We don't want like a double nose. So it's going to be a little trickier to get it exactly the way we want it. Oh wow, okay, Dave's really going for it. Dave does not mess around.
What I'm going to do is, because I can, lengthen our exposure a little bit.
We're going to go with a slightly longer exposure.
Still about
Half a second, and we'll see what happens, right? You guys excited? Questions so far about what we're doing? Somehow we end up here every once in a while, and it's always fun. I like a little movement in my shots.
I love, that's my favorite part actually, what you do.
So maybe you did it.
I haven't done it yet, I need to do it.
Maybe a little.
Okay, so no, but this is a good example of what I was saying. See how we're doubling up our face a little bit here? We want to be careful about that. I think you might be better off doing like a, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
She did that good.
Go all the way down.
I would do that, but if I bent down that far to like throw myself up, I'd probably throw my back out. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry. Nobody's watching you. Oh, wow. Interesting. Huh. Did
We'll try that again.
flash go off?
It did, but it was.
It's just overpowered. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
And go.
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Here's one of those cases where rear curtain would probably be better. If you could time it better. Yeah. All right, so let's try one more time. We can't leave her like that. She's not feeling very, that's not,
We'll try it again. Maybe not smiling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're not happy. She is not happy. Oh, nice. Yeah, see, so what we're getting here is just a lot of weirdness. And what's important to know is that when something's not working, you just got to move on. So that's not working. So let's stop that for a second, and let's kill that light in the back. That didn't work.
Rear or front?
You should. That's front curtain. You basically want to keep shooting until it's terrible. Then you know that you've gone too far, right? That's how you test things. Now, knowing that I want to do a hair flip shot, what can I fix? What's wrong with this? What's happening is the flash plus the ambient light, too much is just getting all over her face. I'm not seeing her pretty face, right? So, in order to alleviate that problem, I'm going to make it so that none of the ambient light touches her face, and the easiest way to do that is just have her turn sideways, right? We can do the same thing, and she can flip this way, right? And then none of the ambient light should touch her face, right? If we go like this. So go ahead and get her wherever you want her, Dave. Yeah, right? And then is the flash hitting her there?
That should be what hit her right here.
Yeah, then we should be able to, let's just do an exposure to see where we're at. And again, we're trying to set ourselves up so that we're not going to get that ambient light hitting her face. We only want the ambient light really to hit her hair, which I think we're pretty much, oh, that's actually kind of nice. That in and of itself is not bad. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. Can you do it? Are you feeling motivated? Do you feel it? Okay. So we think this might be the solution. Well, a flash fired, that's usually a good sign. There we go. Okay, that's not bad. Now, I think that, yeah, just to be a composition issue and, you know, some other things, but yeah. Cool. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Oh, that's weird.
Oh, you want double pop it or something?
Oh, no, I'm just going to singularly do it.
Do what?
I'm just going to singularly do it. I'll just pop it at the end by myself. I'm going to take off your hot shoe.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
because we can't get, because, yeah, we're going to,
We're gonna mock a rear curtain.
yeah. Okay, not everything can do a rear curtain sync, right? So we're gonna fake it. That's how we do it in life. Dave's gonna do the exposure. She's gonna throw her hair up, and I'm gonna, and hopefully it'll actually fire. Okay, good. Hopefully all within the half a second allotted. Here we go.
What's your shutter speed?
The shutter speed is 1/2 of a second.
Yeah.
Dave's gonna tell you when. I'm gonna press this. I don't know why I'm doing it, taking credit. This is probably not gonna work. I should have somebody else do it. Here you go, sir. Press that button in the right spot. Do a little test first. Do a test first. Make sure you know how to do it.
Test it?
You should
Okay.
really be in the camera.
You got the feel for it?
Yeah.
No, he got it. He got it from there. He got it.
Okay.
Because,
All right. Ready?
3, 2, 1. That's.
You went too early. You want to go when she's up. Actually, the hair's perfect though. when your head gets up, that's when you do it.
All right, ready?
Do you want to be up here and be famous? You sure? All right.
You don't listen to me as soon as her hair is up, okay?
Never listen to Fernando. That's the rule.
That is the rule. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
A little early,
Almost.
but getting there. One more. Oh, that's kind of cool actually, but no. When you see her head reach this position, that's when you do it.
No, see, clearly. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let's try it again.
Yeah, I'm losing a little confidence here. Yeah, okay, he's standing up. He's ready now.
3, 2, 1, go.
That felt good. Boom. Nobody claps for you? Wow, you guys are so mean.
We knew he was nervous, we thought he'd be even more nervous.
That's perfect.
You feel better? You did all right?
I feel like you could basically retire now. You've done the shot you needed to do in life. That was it.
You gonna pay him to retire?
So we got all this cool blurriness here from her hair, and we got the frozen perla with the well-executed rear curtain-ish flash. Right? Well, it wasn't exactly at the rear. It was simulated. Simulated rear curtain. Yeah, I mean, it was at the end, but not quite. And yeah, see, so now we don't have any of that weirdness on her face. It's nice and frozen. No, you do. You make up really nice. I don't know what else we could do. At this point, I kind of just want to go sit in the audience. That was pretty good. Okay, does anybody else want to try that? All right, she's going to try it. One more person's going to do it.
They can
Well-
actually do it from here.
All right, do it from the camera. Do the whole thing. Sorry.
I have to do it. Wait.
Go.
Really?
Get up there and do it. Hurry up, make it happen. You get one chance to be famous. Come on, we're making pictures for my portfolio here.
Three, two, one, go. Of course, you know.
I didn't do it.
Controlling.
It's
It's too long exposure to do
It
it by
takes
hand.
two buttons.
Sure, the longer the exposure, the easier it would be.
1, 2. That's it. So where's this is
Right? No?
No, when it's low exposure, you don't push the button by itself, by finger. So you use a cable. to
Sure. Yes. You're asking about a cable release. Sure. People do that so that it doesn't get blurry. But in this case, it's going to be blurry anyway, so I don't.
Half a second window.
But you need to do not blurry, right?
No, it's not blurry. The flash is stopping it. Okay. I don't know what we're creating over here. It's getting a little out of control. This gentleman did it in 2 times.
No, 3. Third time's the charm.
Oh, okay. Hold on, though. Hold on. That's actually pretty nice. All right, I kind of like that. All right. I take it back.
That's it.
I'll clap for you too. There you go. Did you want to do the hair flying? Quick. Hurry up. Come on. Come on. Hurry up.
Oh.
She's coming.
There we go. She's coming.
Perla will do just about anything.
Evil.
Yeah. You just tell her what to do and she does it. That's the best thing about models. That's actually really nice. It's almost so nice I want to delete it.
Hey, delete. Can she open her eyes? Maybe? I mean, I know it's hard. But
Can she open her eyes? I don't know. You could ask her.
would you mind? Yeah. Would be so nice just to see one. Like, I know it's hard because I know you're emotional. Because then the hairs in your face, I know.
Her contact lenses are going to fall out. Oh, oh. Fernando's like a life coach over there.
Sorry, she didn't hear. Okay.
That was nothing.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, that felt pretty good. Nice.
Yeah.
But that's not her hair spinning though. I thought you were gonna have her spin her hair.
She didn't. She said not to hit spin hair.
I told you she'll do anything you ask her to.
Yeah. That way, you know.
Is there anything anybody online wants Perla to do? She probably should have said that. She can do somersaults. No, I don't know that. She probably can do a somersault. When you're an actor, you gotta do whatever you gotta do. Oh, interesting. That's actually pretty cool.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
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 Did you get it?
I think it was. Oh.
Almost.
Interesting.
I like it though.
Yeah. It's like that picture you get in high school where like the small. You know what I'm talking about.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh. Almost.
And that's the rear turn, right? Is it still the rear turn?
1, go.
I feel like I should name this after me because I think I'm the only person who ever does this. I do this every single time because the rear curtain never works.
Sometimes it works and it works
The,
great.
the first rule of doing any kind of presentation is whatever you're trying to show will always fail when you're trying to show it.
Yeah. That's a beautiful shot. Oh, yeah.
Well done. Except she's not blurry. That's actually a. Whoa. Is that you, Fernando?
Yeah, I was like,
Wow. Well done. It's kind of like a phoenix. You know what? Do it with 2 pops. Same thing.
2 pops? All right. Ready?
All right, and here's a multi-pop. Just a little teaser for what we do when we do the multi-pop day. We're gonna fire the flash twice. Oh, 3 times. And you killed it. Come on.
3, 2, 1.
Not so fast. Oh, no, really fast. Oh, weird. It's very,
That's like super nasty.
Stay in the same, in the center if you can. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
oh.
Yeah, but I can see.
I think she's doing a perfect job. I think Fernando's killing it.
She's awesome.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, we got a little off track there, but I think we got some cool stuff in the end, right? Just from working through, actually, to be honest, I love that. Well done.
That's a beautiful shot.
It's just a really, really nice shot. And it definitely brings back where we started, this kind of little mysterious attitude, but with a little bit of this movement going on, right? It's not even super obvious, which I really like. I think you achieved it very, very nicely with that. And there you go. We went full circle. And I think that's important, right? When you want to start to, especially if you're experimenting with people you know and aren't going to like hate you if you screw it up, you know, push it. You know, you have an idea, try it, and then just keep going until it's terrible. Like that's just a good thing to learn, right? Keep shooting until it's just not working, and then say, okay, you know, let's try something else. Don't get the great shot and then just do that same shot over and over again. Keep going. See how far you can take it, because you might find something that's better than what you were doing. So that's if we learned anything today. Besides, never use stuff for the first time in a live audience with before you test it. At the 2 o'clock session, everything's going to work 100% fine when we're not live streaming. I'm sure. Oh, I've been forgetting to mention, but I'll mention now since we have a decent crowd today that if you guys have, and online too, if you have old equipment that you're not using and you want to sell it, Adorama buys equipment, and they've asked me to say if you'd like to send it to us or bring it in, they'll give you money for it, or I guess store credit or something. Maybe they'll give you that candy that's by the who knows what they're going to give you, right? But they'll give you something. So if you have that stuff, bring it in. And next week is. Oh, we're going to kind of do some of this stuff next week because we're going to do stuff about movement next week. But we're going to do some we're going to show you how to do stuff like this, but also freezing action, showing movement, demonstrating that things are moving by both having frozen action and moving, plus possibly multiple pops, depending on how excited we get about it. We're going to do that next week, same times, 12, 2, and 4. And again, if you weren't here at the beginning, we do live stream at 12 every Thursday. So if you are home or on a date or at church or wherever you are at 12 on Thursdays and you're bored, log in at AdoramaTV.com. You can check me out. Thanks for coming. We can close now, right? Am I staying my? I'm looking to make sure I didn't. If I don't do it long enough, they don't pay me. Oh, here we go. I'm long enough. We're good. So I got to be just long enough. I got like 3 more seconds. Okay, boom. That's a. Thanks for coming, guys. And if you stick around, I'll see you at 2. Otherwise, next week. And thanks.